And the dangerous part here is that these founders often think they are the only one, that everyone else has clarity. And that's the lie that isolates people.
Bernd, I want to start with something today that I've been sitting with for a while. And honestly, I'm a little hesitant to say it out loud. There's a question I catch myself asking sometimes, not after a bad quarter, not after a failed launch, just at the end of a random Tuesday. Am I actually good at this? And I think what makes it uncomfortable is that it feels like you shouldn't need to ask it. Like successful people have somehow moved past that question. But I'm not sure that's true. And today, I'd love to dig into that with you. So here's the question nobody says out loud. You've coached founders for years. Where does this question come from? Because I don't think it comes from obvious failure.
No, it rarely does. It usually shows up quietly at the end of a long day. The to-do list is somehow longer than when you started, and then this thought appears not loud, not dramatic, just there. Am I actually good at this? And I want to be very clear here. That question is not a weakness. It's a signal. It means you're reflecting. You're not just running.
So that reframe is very important, I think, because my instinct, and I suspect most founders' instinct, is to treat that question as a problem to be solved, to silence it by working harder or pointing at some metric that proves you're okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it gets counterproductive. You suppress the question instead of taking it seriously. The question itself is not the issue. What you do with it, that's the issue.
So let's talk a little bit about what makes this worse, because I think there's an environmental factor here that
Mhm.
we don't talk about honestly enough. I'll admit it. I've opened LinkedIn on a bad day and immediately felt worse, not because anything had changed, but because I suddenly felt behind.
Yeah, what you see on LinkedIn is a curated reality. Everyone is growing, everyone is scaling. And if someone does talk about failure, it's packed neatly. And I struggled, but then I made it. That's not honesty. That's marketing with a vulnerability filter on top.
And what's insidious about this is intellectually that it's curated, but it still works on you emotionally. Your brain doesn't care about that disclaimer.
Precisely. Your brain compares automatically. You compare your messy reality, what you actually experience, with someone else's polished highlight reel. And that's never a fair comparison. And you will lose in every time.
I had a mentor once who said, never compare your inside to someone else's outside. And I thought I understood it when he said it, but it took me a few years to actually feel what he meant.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. I see that in the same way. Here's what concerns me the most right now. Over time, that comparison creates pressure that shouldn't exist. Founders start doubting their own judgment. They disconnect from their intuition, and at some point, they just keep going without reality knowing why.
And I've seen that. I've experienced it myself. You're technically functioning, meetings happen, decisions get made, but internally, you're running on empty and not sure of anything.
And the dangerous part here is that these founders often think they are the only one, that everyone else has clarity. And that's the lie that isolates people.
So you recently had a mastermind weekend with your clients, and I want to ask you something about that because I think it illustrates something important. What actually happens when you remove the performance layer?
Well, we meet twice a year in a group with 20 founders, and we use a format called Hot Seat. There, one person steps forward and shares their biggest current problem. No filters, no polishing. And what's interesting here is that what happens? It happens before they even start. Many people think my problem is too simple, too basic. The others won't take it seriously.
And that self censorship happens before you've even said anything.
Yeah, right. And then they speak and they realize then everyone in the room is dealing with something very similar. We had founders there who were at their absolute limit. I mean, not busy, genuinely at their limit. And you would never see that on social media.
And there's something powerful that happens in a room where people drop the act. I've been in spaces like that, and the relief that comes from realizing you're not uniquely struggling, that it's not a small thing, that you can change the trajectory of a year. Moving on a little bit, Barrett, you mentioned something that your colleague Mike said there. I'd love for you to share it because I think it captures something that's hard to articulate.
Yeah, he summed it up perfectly, in my opinion. He said, here in this mastermind weekend on the hot seat, real people with real problems come together. Not LinkedIn poster boys or some Dubai guy with a Lamborghini. And everyone realizes our problems are solvable. And I like that what he said in that sentence.
Yeah. And I like that it ends with solvable. A good friend of mine uses the term figure outable when
Yeah,
it comes to problems. Not everything is fine. Not you're doing great, solvable. The problems can be solved. That's honest and useful at the same time.
grab a copy of my free checklist for leaders at fipodcast.vip/OSVA. Again, that is fipodcast.vip/OSVA. Yeah, I believe you often mention that word, figure outable. That's the key, in my opinion. Real people, real problems, and the realization that it's solvable. You will figure it out. Those three things together, that's what changes the dynamic. And that almost never happens on social media or LinkedIn or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of honesty in a group setting takes real courage. And I think it's worth distinguishing it from the vulnerability we see performed online, which often isn't vulnerability at all. It's just a different kind of positioning.
Exactly. What happens in that room is uncomfortable. You stand in front of others and talk about things you haven't solved. You make yourself vulnerable in a way that doesn't come with a redemption ready to go. And then you receive feedback, and sometimes that feedback hits exactly where you didn't want to look.
Yeah. And I think the hardest part from my own experience is not the giving of feedback, but the receiving. Sitting with something that's accurate but inconvenient, not immediately explaining it away.
Yeah, but that's where the growth actually happens. Not when you look good, but when you see clearly. And those two things are rarely the same moment.
Yeah. So let's come back to the core question. What actually makes someone a good founder? I suspect the answer is less about skills and more about something else.
It's not a checklist, but I see certain patterns consistently. First, a good founder creates space deliberately, space to step out of daily operations and to reflect. Most founders don't do this. They are too busy running, but without distance, there is no clarity. And second, they are willing to hear uncomfortable truth. And this is harder than it sounds. The ego is very good at defending itself. Yeah, but my situation is different. That's a classic deflection, and it's expensive. And third, in critical moments, they put their ego aside. Not always, not everywhere, but when it matters.
So what strikes me about all three here is that none of them are about talent or intelligence. They're about habits and willingness. That's actually an encouraging framing because those things are trainable.
That's exactly right. And it's also why the question, am I a good founder? If you take it seriously instead of suppressing it, it's the beginning of something, not the end.
So for someone listening right now who is asking themselves that question, what should they actually take away?
First, you're not alone. Every founder has real problems, not just challenges. I hate this. Oh, no, we don't have problems. We have challenges. No, you have problems, and every founder has real problems. Second, the question is not whether you have problems. The question is how you deal with them. And third, you need people around you who understand your reality, not cheerleaders, not people who just motivate you, but people who see clearly and speak honestly.
So that last one is what I keep coming back to. the quality of your thinking is partly a function of who you're having conversations with. If everyone around you is either an employee with something at stake or a friend who wants to be supportive, you're missing something critical.
Yeah, that's the gap I see most often. Many founders are isolated in a very specific way. They talk to employees, but that's a different dynamic. They talk to friends, but friends don't fully understand the situation. And they don't have a space where they can be completely honest.
And the irony is that fixing that gap isn't complicated. It's just uncomfortable to admit you need it because admitting it feels like admitting something is wrong.
Whereas in reality, seeking out that kind of peer accountability and honest feedback is one of the most strategically sound things a founder can do. It's not therapy, it's infrastructure.
So I want to close today with a thought that shifted something for me as we've been talking. The question, am I a good founder, might be the wrong question. Not because it doesn't matter, but because it frames something dynamic as a fixed state. Like there's a verdict to reach.
Yeah, I think you're right. Being a good founder is a process, not a destination. And it starts with honesty, with yourself first, and then with the right people around you.
Gotcha. Okay. So everyone listening today, let me leave you with this. When was the last time you had a conversation with someone who truly understands your situation and told you the truth, even when it was uncomfortable? Not someone who motivated you, not someone who validated you, someone who saw clearly and said what they actually thought. If no one comes to mind, that might be the most valuable thing you can take from this episode.
Yes, I think that's a very good point you're making here, Brian. Thank you very much. Subscribe for free today at fipodcast.vip/xbzv and join thousands of leaders receiving exclusive and actionable leadership insights you won't find anywhere else. Again, that is fipodcast.vip/xbzv